where the flowers bloom and the sunshine glows. There's normal gardens where the beauty grows. Every leaf tells a story, every seed takes flight. In the garden's heart, everything feels right. Es mamo, sing it to the sky. Whisper to the petals as the clouds drift by. Es mamo, let the green roots run, dancing with the daisies in the morning sun.
Hello everyone, welcome to Ezmamo Gardens. What I want to do today is look at plants that can tolerate low light conditions. Not totally darkness, but can somehow survive in low light. The first one we have is the peace lily. The peace lily can tolerate low light and will survive in shaded corners or rooms with minimum windows. I had this next to a window and the draft scorched the leaves, and the peace lily requires high humidity. So I have moved it right in the center of the living room, and it has been thriving since then. So you can mistaken the lack of humidity to overwatering, that it's also a factor that will brown your leaves. And here I have the second one, and this one is receiving the moisture, the humidity that comes from the bathroom, and it's also right in the center at the back wall of the living area, and it's just receiving somewhat of light, and it's also doing very well. I normally make a mistake of having a plant close to the window, close to bright direct light, close to bright sunlight, thinking this is what it requires. But normally some of the plants thrive in low light, and it requires the soil to be consistently moist but not super soggy wet. Having this peace lily right in the center of the house, they are retaining moisture from the environment, from the bathroom, from the cooking, from the kitchen, and so forth. And don't overwater the plant. Even though they can tolerate low light, they don't want to be sitting in soggy soil. So water once the soil is semi-wet dry, but not super dry. And misting the peace lily, it helps with humidity, just to have their leaves moist. If you have a humidifier in your home, that will help as well. You can mist your peace lily once or twice in a week, or you can put on a humidifier couple of hours a day. That will help consistently with humidity. When this peace lily is dry, it will let you know. The leaves will droop so badly, but once it's hydrated, the leaves will pop up again. While they make excellent closet or office plants, keep in mind that deep shade will hinder the ability to produce the signature white flowers. And the benefit is that they will naturally purify the indoor air. The second one is the spider plant. This is also a powerhouse when it comes to air purification plant. And it's one of those plants that can tolerate low light. While they grow fastest and produce their most offshoots in bright indirect light, they are highly adaptable to low light. The plant will grow at much slower pace because it has less energy to produce food through photosynthesis. And if you have a striped variety, green and white, the white stripes may fade and the plant might turn an almost solid dark green to maximize its light absorption. And low light conditions typically prevent the plant from blooming and producing the signature dangling baby plantlets. And when you have it in low light, reduce the watering frequency. Because the plant is not growing as fast, it will use far less water. They are so easy to propagate. They can be propagated from the plantlets or spider babies that they produce. And once they have the ideal conditions, they are fast growing plants. Trim or clean your plants regularly just to remove all those dead leaves. If your home lacks natural light, spider plants can even do well under artificial light or fluorescence light, making them an excellent option for dim offices or rooms with only north-facing windows. Some of the most common care mistakes include keeping spider plants somewhere too warm and fertilizing them in winter. Both of these things cause spider plants to grow long, narrow, delicate leaves. This also makes spider plants more susceptible to pests. And just having a clean plant and removing all these brown dead leaves reduce the pest infestation as well. Spider plants are highly sensitive to fluoride, chlorine, and salt commonly found in municipal tap water. These minerals accumulate at the tips of the leaves and burn them. Another factor could be low humidity. Native to tropical regions, spider plants prefer 50% to 60% humidity. When indoor air is too dry, the delicate tips dry out and turn crispy. Both extreme causes browning. Underwatering leaves the plant dehydrated and crispy, while soggy soil from overwatering leads to root rot, which stops the plant from absorbing moisture. It is important to water thoroughly only when the top inches of soil feels dry. Ensure your pot has adequate drainage holes. I am gonna quickly clean this plant as well, air fluoration, and get rid of the dead leaves. Once the tips are brown, that specific tissue will not turn green again. Just use clean scissors to cut out that brown dead tips. Leave a small brown margin so you don't cut into a healthy green tissue. The third plant I want to share with you is the hardleaf philodendron. This is highly adaptable and can tolerate low light, making it a fantastic beginner-friendly houseplant for darker rooms or shaded indoor spots. While it can survive in dim areas, there are few important things to know about how low light conditions affect the plant. The plant will not grow very fast in low light. It will conserve the energy by putting out fewer leaves at a much slower rate. It may develop leggy stems with longer spaces between the leaves as it stretches to find more light. And the new leaves that grow in low light conditions will likely be smaller than those growing in bright indirect light. If you have a variegated variety like the Philodendron Brazil, lower light can cause the vibrant yellow or cream streaks to fade or revert to plain green as the plant produces more chlorophyll to capture light. The same as the other plant, because it's going to be receiving low light, the plant is not getting as much light. Reduce the watering frequency. Water it less. It will use less water. Always check the soil and let the top 2 to 3 inches dry out before watering again to prevent root rot. And wipe the leaves occasionally with a damp cloth to remove dust, which will help the plant photosynthesize efficiently in dim spaces. Propagating a hardleaf philodendron is incredibly easy and usually done via stem cutting in water or in soil. Locate a node with clean scissors, cut below the node, remove the bottom leaves so the bottom node is fully exposed. Submerge the cutting either in soil or in water, and voila, you have a brand new hardleaf philodendron. The fourth one I'm going to share with you is the golden pothos. In fact, is one of the most forgiving houseplant for darker rooms or offices. However, there are few traits to keep in mind regarding its health and appearance. The golden pothos is known for its signature yellow and green speckle leaves. In low light, the plant produces less chlorophyll, causing the new leaves to revert to a solid, darker green to maximize its ability to photosynthesize. It will grow very slow because it has less light to generate energy. The plant will grow at a much slower rate compared to one kept in bright indirect light. Another thing you may notice, it will have longer gaps between the leaves on the vines as it stretches to find light source. Reduce watering needs. Plants in low light use less water. You must allow the top inches of soil to dry out completely between watering to prevent root rot. To maximize its health and keep its bright yellowing variegation, keep it somewhere where it will receive bright indirect light. Propagating a golden pothos is easiest and most successful through stem cuttings in water. Simply snip a healthy vine just below a brown bump or a node. Place the cutting in a glass of room temperature water and set it in bright indirect light. Roots will form in few weeks, and just like that, you will have a brand new plant. Fertilize your golden pothos during the growing season, which is spring and summer. Water the plant before fertilizing. Never fertilize in dry soil. The fifth plant I want to share with you is the snake plant. Snake plants are highly tolerant of dim spaces and will survive, but they won't thrive or grow. In low light, the plant enters a maintenance mode where it barely grows and loses its vibrant coloration. To keep it alive and healthy in a dark room, you will need to adjust its care significantly. Without sufficient light, the plant cannot produce the energy it needs to push out new leaves, but it will just barely survive. Color fades. The varieties may turn completely dark green as the plant produces more chlorophyll to capture light. It weakens the structure. Over time, leaves may become thin, leggy, and droop over as they stretch for light. Reduce watering. Because the plant isn't photosynthesizing as much in low light, its soil will dry out much slower. Over watering in low light is the fastest way to cause root rot. Always let the soil dry out completely before watering it again. Use a fast draining soil. Ensure your pot has adequate drainage holes and use a gritty, well draining potting mix. And supplement light. If you want your snake plant to actually grow, consider placing it near a window or using a full spectrum LED grow light. Cleaning your snake plant leaves regularly removes build-up dust, allowing it to photosynthesize effectively. With a damp cloth, wipe it down from base to tip. Propagating a snake plant is incredibly easy and can be done in 3 ways: division, separating baby plants, water propagation, or soil propagation. Division is the fastest method and maintains variegated leaf patterns, while leaf cuttings are perfect for creating multiple new plants. The last plant I want to share with you is the ZZ plant, also known as Zamioculcas zamiofolia. It can tolerate low light exceptionally well. While they survive in dark corners or windowless offices with only artificial fluorescent lights, they won't grow much. For faster, lush growth, bright to moderate indirect light is ideal. Surviving versus growing. In low light, your plant will survive, but its growth will be extremely slow. If you want new shoots, place it in a brighter spot. Never place your ZZ plant in harsh direct sunlight. Too much direct sun can cause the leaves to scorch, yellow, or drop. Because a low light plant uses less energy and water, its soil takes much longer to dry out. Be careful not to overwater. Always ensure the soil is completely dry before watering it again. The ZZ plant store water in its underground tubers called rhizomes, which allows the plant to go weeks without water. You can propagate ZZ plant using 3 methods: rhizome, division, stem cutting, or leaf cutting. The fastest and most reliable method is division, while leaf and stem cutting will take several months to sprout tiny potato-like rhizomes before growing into a new plant. The ZZ plant are slow growers with low nutrient needs because they store food in the thick rhizomes. Feed them only during the active growing season, which is spring and summer, using a balanced water-soluble house plant fertilizer. Avoid fertilizing in winter. And this plant is a powerhouse air purifier. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll see you soon.